We saved the world. That's not an exaggeration, folks. That's not spin. That's not campaign talk. That is simply, factually, beautifully what happened. And tonight I'm going to tell you exactly how we did it from the very beginning. So get comfortable, lay back, because this is one of the greatest stories ever told, and it's all true. Every single word. Now, before I begin, I want you to close your eyes. Well, keep them open just a little because you need to watch this. But imagine it's 1941. America is sitting here minding its own business. Tremendous country, by the way. Already tremendous. And the world outside is on fire. Total disaster. Europe, gone. Asia, being taken over. It looked very, very bad. Worse than anything you've seen on the news today, I can tell you that. And the question that everyone was asking, every general, every president, every mother and father in this country was, what does America do? That question is what this whole story is about. So settle in. We're going to go back, way back, and I'm going to walk you through step by step, night by night, battle by battle, how the United States of America stood up, squared its shoulders, and did what nobody else on earth could have done. We saved the world, and you need to know exactly how it happened. Part one, the world before America got involved. Let's go back to the late 1930s. Now, a lot of people don't know this part. They think the war started for America on December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor. We'll get there, trust me. It's an incredible story. But to understand what America did, you have to understand what was happening before we officially got involved. In Europe, Adolf Hitler, terrible person, one of the worst ever, frankly, had already taken Austria, then Czechoslovakia, then Poland, and the world just watched. They watched. It's unbelievable. France, England, great countries, good people, but they were not prepared. Germany had been building up its military for years, secretly, quietly, and then boom, they moved fast. Blitzkrieg, they called it. Lightning war. Tanks moving at speeds nobody had ever seen in battle. Cities falling in days, not months. By 1940, France fell. Paris, beautiful Paris, occupied. And Britain, under Winston Churchill, tremendous guy. Churchill, very tough, very smart, one of the greats. Britain was standing alone, an island, small island, against the most powerful military machine Europe had ever produced. Churchill sent letters to President Franklin Roosevelt. He said, essentially, we are going to lose unless you help us. Very direct. Churchill was always direct. Now Roosevelt, he was in a tough spot. The American people didn't want to go to war. We'd just come out of World War I, the war to end all wars, they called it. Didn't quite work out that way, did it? And Americans said, look, this is Europe's problem. We have our own issues. We're coming out of the Great Depression. People are working, people are building. Why should we send our sons over there? So he did something clever, something very smart, actually. He came up with the Lend-Lease program. Lend-Lease, and I love this because it's such a smart deal, honestly. I respect it. Roosevelt basically told the American people, we're not going to fight. We're just going to lend our friends some weapons, and they'll give them back when they're done. He used the analogy of a neighbor's house on fire. You don't sell him a fire hose. You lend it to him. So starting in March 1941, America began shipping billions of dollars worth of weapons, tanks, planes, food, and supplies to Britain. Then to the Soviet Union when Hitler turned on them because Hitler made a catastrophic mistake, one of the biggest mistakes in military history, by invading Russia. Always a mistake to invade Russia in winter. Napoleon found that out. Hitler found that out. You would think people would learn. Here's something that genuinely surprises us every time we check the analytics on this channel. More than 90% of the people watching this video right now are not subscribed. 90%. We're telling the story of how America, outnumbered, late to the fight, and told it couldn't be done, turned the entire tide of the Second World War. That story deserves to reach every patriotic American who still believes this country is the greatest force for good the world has ever seen. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share this with one person tonight who loves American history. Now let's continue. Part 2, the day that changed everything. December 7th, 1941, Sunday morning, early. The sun was just coming up over the Hawaiian Islands. Pearl Harbor, the home of the United States Pacific Fleet. Sailors were sleeping, some were eating breakfast. It was a quiet, beautiful morning, the kind of morning where nothing bad could possibly happen. And then the planes came. 353 Japanese aircraft coming in 2 waves. They hit us hard. They hit us so fast, so suddenly, that our guys on the ground barely had time to react. Battleships were sunk. Planes were destroyed on the runway before they could even get off the ground. Over 2,400 Americans were killed that morning. 2,400. The next day, December 8th, President Roosevelt stood before Congress. He called December 7th, and these words still give people chills, a date which will live in infamy. Congress declared war on Japan within hours, then Germany declared war on the United States. And just like that, America was in it, all the way in. Before the war, Ford was making cars, General Motors was making cars. Now they were making tanks, bombers, jeeps, ammunition. Around the clock, 7 days a week, women went to work in factories. Rosie the Riveter, you've seen the poster, and those women showed up every single day and built the equipment that won the war. By 1944, America was producing 96,000 aircraft per year. Germany was producing 26,000. Japan couldn't even come close. We outproduced everyone. We out-manufactured everyone. And we did it while fighting on 2 fronts simultaneously. Part 3, the Pacific, island by island. After Pearl Harbor, Japan had swept across the Pacific with terrifying speed. They took the Philippines, and that was brutal, absolutely brutal. General Douglas MacArthur was ordered to leave. He left, but he made a promise, I shall return, and he meant it. The Battle of Midway, June 1942, our code breakers cracked Japanese naval codes and figured out Japan was planning a massive attack on Midway Island. Admiral Chester Nimitz knew they were coming. He knew the date. He knew the size of the fleet, and he set a trap. Japan sent 4 of their best aircraft carriers, the same ones from Pearl Harbor. In 3 days, America sank all 4. Japan lost their best pilots, their best ships, their best naval air power. The war in the Pacific would go on for 3 more years, but after Midway, Japan was never again on offense. The battles were costly. God, they were costly. Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Iwo Jima, young men 18, 19, 20 years old climbing up beaches into machine gun fire. At Iwo Jima, 6,800 Americans were killed, 26,000 were wounded, to take an island that is only 8 square miles, but they took it. Every time they took it. And the image that came out of Iwo Jima, 6 soldiers raising the American flag on top of Mount Suribachi, became one of the most iconic photographs in human history because it captured something real, the American will to push forward no matter what. Part 4, Europe, the plan to save the continent. While the Pacific campaign was grinding forward, American and Allied planners were working on something massive. the liberation of Europe. The Allied plan: invade North Africa first, push up through Italy, then hit Germany from the west with the biggest amphibious invasion ever attempted. June 6th, 1944, D-Day. General Eisenhower had been planning this for over a year. 5 beaches on the coast of Normandy, France, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, Sword, 156,000 Allied troops, 11,000 aircraft, 7,000 naval vessels going across the English Channel in the dark and rough water toward beaches that Germany had spent 3 years fortifying. The Allies pulled off one of the greatest deception operations in history, Operation Bodyguard, making the Germans believe the invasion would come at Pas de Calais. They even created a fake army and put General Patton in command of it because Hitler believed Patton was the best American general. By the end of D-Day, the Allies had a foothold in France. By the end of August, Paris was liberated. By the end of 1944, most of France and Belgium had been freed. Part 5, the Battle of the Bulge, America's darkest hour. December 1944, everyone thought it was nearly over. And then Hitler, in a last massive gamble, threw everything he had left at the American lines in Belgium and Luxembourg. 200,000 German troops, 600 tanks, attacking through the Ardennes forest in the worst weather Europe had seen in decades. The 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles, was surrounded at Bastogne, completely surrounded, no supplies, brutal cold, running out of ammunition. The Germans sent a message demanding surrender. General McAuliffe sent back one word: nuts. Patton turned his entire army 90 degrees in the middle of winter, which military historians will tell you is nearly impossible, and drove north to relieve Bastogne. In 72 hours, in snow and ice, Patton's Third Army covered 60 miles and broke through the German encirclement. Germany had nothing left. Part 6, the end and what it means. By the spring of 1945, it was over in Europe. On May 8th, 1945, Germany surrendered unconditionally. VE Day, victory in Europe. Crowds poured into the streets of every major American city. People who hadn't smiled in years smiled that day. But Japan was still fighting. American military planners estimated that an invasion of the Japanese home islands would cost between 250,000 and 1 million American lives. President Truman faced the most difficult decision any president has ever faced. On August 6th, 1945, a single American B-29 bomber called the Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb over Hiroshima. On August 9th, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender. The war was over. Part 7. What America gave the world. America had just fought the most expensive, most bloody war in human history. And what did America do? We rebuilt our enemies. The Marshall Plan sent billions of dollars to rebuild Western Europe, including Germany. We rebuilt Japan too. No country in history had ever done anything like that. When Rome defeated its enemies, it enslaved them. When empires conquered nations, they extracted their wealth. America defeated the most dangerous regimes the world had ever produced and then helped them up, because Americans understood something: that peace is more profitable than domination, that allies are more valuable than subjects. The post-World War II order, the one America built, produced the longest period of prosperity and relative peace in human history. Poverty declined. Life expectancy rose. Democracy spread. America did that. Part 8, the people we should never forget. And before I let you sleep, I want you to think about the people, not the generals, not the presidents, the people. The 19-year-old kid from Iowa who had never left his county before 1942 and found himself on a beach in Normandy at dawn, the mother in Detroit working a 12-hour shift at the plant, the codebreaker in Washington cracking Japanese transmissions, the Tuskegee Airmen, African-American pilots who fought for a country that didn't always treat them as equals and flew with such distinction that they earned the respect of everyone who saw them in action, the nurses at field hospitals saving lives that should have been lost, the ordinary men and women of the greatest generation who, when history asked them to rise, rose. This country, your country, produced those people, and it will produce them again, because that's who we are, that's what we do. The wind down time to sleep, so now it's time to close your eyes, take a long breath in, and let it out slowly. The war is over. The world has been saved. The boys are coming home. Somewhere in America tonight, in 1945, a soldier is stepping off a train. His wife is waiting on the platform. She sees him before he sees her. She starts running. He drops his bag. They meet somewhere in the middle of the platform. And for a moment, the whole world is quiet. The war is done. The hardest thing they ever did is done. And what's ahead of them, what's ahead of this whole country is everything. Everything is possible now. The suburbs, the babies, the cars and the highways and the televisions and the Saturday morning cartoons and the barbecues in the backyard, all of it waiting patient just on the other side of this moment on this train platform. America earned that, every bit of it. Feel your body getting heavy now, your shoulders dropping down, your jaw unclenching. Breathe in. The Atlantic is calm tonight, no submarines beneath it, no convoys crossing in the dark, just water, just the moon on the water, silver and still, from New York all the way to the coast of France. Breathe out. Somewhere in the Pacific, the ocean is quiet too. Midway is just a small atoll again, a few birds, a little wind. The water is the deepest blue you've ever seen, and it goes on forever in every direction. Breathe in. You're safe. Your country is safe. The greatest generation gave you that. The world is sleeping tonight, and America is watching over it. Breathe out. In Bastogne, there's snow on the ground, but it's silent now. No artillery, no engines, just the cold, white quiet of a winter night in Belgium. And somewhere beneath that ground, there are men who didn't make it home, men who gave everything there was to give. Remember them, breathe in, and be grateful, because you are the beneficiary of their courage. Every day you wake up free, every day you drive to work without checkpoints, every day you say what you think and worship how you choose and vote for whoever you want. That is the inheritance they left you. Protect it, pass it on. Now breathe out one more time. Let your eyes close all the way. You're drifting now, very comfortable, very warm. The weight of the day is lifting off you, and you're floating down slowly into a deep and peaceful sleep. And the last thing I want you to think about right before you go, the last image I want in your mind tonight is that flag. 6 men, a cold volcanic island, a pole, and the red, white, and blue going up, up, up into a gray Pacific sky. That's America. That's who we are. And that's why no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what you see on the news, no matter how divided things feel on any given day, this country is still and will always be the greatest nation God ever put on this earth. Good night, sleep well, and God bless America.